Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy, and doing another dark deck interview here. This time, we're doing the Ghost Tarot. What is this? This is a Low Scarabeo deck. So I got this deck originally just as a Halloween deck. It's a Halloweeny deck. I couldn't do decks that were, if the imagery of a darkish deck hits me too viscerally, I can't do it. And so there's a lot of dark decks. Well, one that I just, don't appeal to me in general, but some that are too weird or grotesque for me. And this was, it had this spooky vibe with, the ghost stuff going on. But was really didn't go too far in that direction. It really is just a ghost deck. And I have used it quite a bit for relationship readings, and I probably won't let it go, even if it doesn't pass the dark interview test. I'll probably keep it either as something to bring out for a Halloweeny reading or for relationship readings. But let's dive in and see how it does with the dark deck interview. So number one is, how are you a dark deck? And this was a popper. Seemed to want to come right out and tell me. So this almost indicates to me as somebody who is wanting to shine a light in the darkness, or show the way, to kind of see in that darkness that's out there. So it is kind of expressing itself as a dark deck, wanting to sort of show the way. And that is kind of, as I've done these, one of the ways I've expressed my notion of a dark deck is to illuminate aspects of character that are problematic, not helpful for progress in life. So let's continue. Number two, what dis-ease can you help me with? So what dis-ease can this deck help me with? And we have the Ten of Wands, which has shown up more than once in these readings, but I think generally not in the same position. Well, wait a second. I think the Hobbit Tarot gave me the Ten of Wands also in this position. So, So what's going on here? This looks like a monk figure who's bringing staves up, maybe to a monastery up there. Is it up on the cliff? Part of it looks old and part of it looks new, so I don't know. But in a communal sort of situation, that is what would happen, right? You have the monks are all living together and they each have their particular mundane task to do that contributes to the community. So what dis-ease can you help me with? Well, I could see, actually, when I look at it that way, I can see that as my own, because I do have the Lyme disease, I often do have dis-ease about the extent to which I can contribute to any community or any endeavor. It's like just keeping myself on an even keel in my own little world, functioning correctly and the house cleaned and that's about as much as I can take. And so even, when I was engaged in looking for romantic partnerships, there was a question in my mind. It's like, I can barely, handle just being me in terms of just basic maintenance. And so, if I were in a partnership and that person got ill and I was having to take care of myself and that other person, could I even do it? Could I even function in the relationship on that level? So I would say this makes some sense to me. So, number 3, what is your recommendation for that dis-ease? Well, and here, just get a partner. 2 of Cups. And of course, I could look at this and say, well, it is 2 of Cups, so it's about finding somebody that you're spiritually connected to and not worrying about the more practical things. But I don't know. I'm still a physical being. I'm not sure that this is... It's a romantic solution, which may be the way this deck deals with things. But yeah, I don't know. There's the practical matters of life, I think, can't be swept under the rug by a little romantic 2 of Cups. So it's not the best solution for me. I understand the message, but it's one that I'm skeptical of. So number 4, what dark aspect of my personality holds me back the most in my relationships? What is this? The 9 of Cups. I think I almost have to step back from what's going on between the 2 people because it's about my personality. What aspect of my personality holds me back the most in my relationship? Well, it could be this. If you see this nearly invisible person as a wallflower at the celebration, well, certainly I don't get out in the world very much, and I'm happy to blend into the background and really don't go to social outings. And so that certainly, and that's an aspect of my personality that holds me back. And so that's the way I look at this, is almost, well, it's a celebration. It's a group of people getting together. And so that's something I'm not inclined to do, and may easily become quite invisible in that environment. So I can kind of see it, but that's a bit of a struggle, because I tend to look at this interaction and say, what? And it could be if instead of identifying with this, if I identify with him, it could be that I'm looking through people, that looking past people that might be potential matches or something. But I think I just wouldn't even be in this situation. So, and that's an aspect of my personality, just very, very hermitish. And number 5, what dark aspect of my personality holds me back the most in my career? Okay, so Temperance. So if we think of it reverse, since it is negative, I don't think of Temperance as a negative card. It could be if I'm not engaging in temperance, it could be times when I lose my temper or am reactive. I don't do it a lot, but when I do it, it's kind of not mistakable. It's not like I rage at anybody, but I put up the boundaries pretty darn quickly. And in kind of there's no gray area there. So, but I also see something else the longer I look at that, and that's that I'm not being careful to nourish myself. I'm not balancing that nourishment. So I'm kind of not going to my workplace in completely refreshed and able to cope with the work. And again, that's just the larger problem that I have in my physical body. But it's expressed to some extent in my personality by not paying close enough attention to my own needs, my physical needs, making sure those are met so that I do feel refreshed. I feel a greater obligation to be available than I do to taking care of myself. There is still that kind of back of the mind Puritan work ethic that doesn't like when I can't perform at what I consider to be a normal level. So, yeah. Anyway, so I get along with this deck. It doesn't, it took me a while to get to that last card, the Temperance, to figure it out, but I really, and 4 or 5. So was it super stellar for a dark deck? No, but I could read the messages. I do consider this a fairly readable and interesting deck. And so I'm not going to get rid of it, but it's not going to be the deck that I immediately think of when I'm looking for these kinds of questions, these dark aspects of personalities, assumptions, whatever. And again, I like this deck better than I like the Dark Fairy Tale Tarot, but among the dark themed decks that I have, ones that are specifically have that theme, the Dark Fairy Tale Tarot outdid both the Ghost Tarot and the Gothic Tarot, and still the Osho Zen is holding its own. It was still the best deck. It is still the best deck for dark readings. So again, it's in the Osho Zen is invalidating my dark deck buying by essentially saying, hello there, Jennifer. I was here all along. Why did you spend this money on these other decks? Anyway, I've got a few more to go. Some of them oracle decks. Only two more that are specifically dark themed. So maybe I'll do those next. And we'll see if they outdo the Osho Zen or not. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.